Our show, because I personally cannot remember any time I've ever had a top find that was devoted to the joy of cheese and what to talk about, how to set it out, because it comes with a little guide to explain some of the notes to you more. But I want to introduce you to the gentleman. His name is Stephen Gellert. This is a family business. It's called World's Best Cheeses, and you are a certified tested certificate cheese professional.
Yep, I had to take a very long, tough exam from the American Cheese Society.
I feel like you need to have a medal or something to indicate your status, but it's so very nice to have you in the air. So this is exciting for me because I love to introduce members of my family and my friends to different things from around the world. And that's one of the reasons I'm very excited about this. We had this on around the holiday season and it was so incredibly popular. We wanted to bring it back as a top find. And what essentially you're getting in this flavor selection around the world is a Brie from France. You're getting the fabulous Gouda from Holland. You're getting something a bit more local, horseradish cheddar from the Finger Lakes, Manchego from Spain, and then 2 of the jars of the fig spread and the mini toast, so you don't even need to go out and buy crackers. When you put everything out, this is what your cheese plate is going to look like. So for less than $40, it's all been taken care of for you. And then to make it even better, this is my favorite part. If you don't know a lot about cheeses, it comes with a guide right here that you can open up. And then when you see it on the inside, it gives you tasting notes and you can write things down about your experience. I love this. So which cheese would you like to start with, sir?
Yeah, sure. And so the cheese I'd like to start with first is the cheese that you can't have a good cheese plate without, and that's Brie from France. Mm-hmm. And we've actually done something really special with this Brie. I know you've seen those crescent rolls at the supermarket.
The ones that pop open.
Pop right open.
Okay.
So super simple. You just take the little Brie included, and you cover it up with the pastry. You can even put in some of the fig jam that we have here, and you just cook it for a few minutes. And let's
then it will come
look
out
in
nice
here
and
how
moist.
awesome this is going to be.
Okay. Now let me ask you, so this is Brie from France. Did Brie originate in France?
It did. Now look at how oozy this is.
Oh my gosh. Can you see this right over here? Oh my gosh, that is beautiful on the inside. Did you put some of the, is this fig and walnuts?
Got some of the fig jam, some walnuts in there.
Gorgeous. So let me ask, for Brie, I see several tools here. This is why I'm so glad that you're here. Which tool should I be using for this?
So for something crusty like this, you could go with a bread knife, and then once it's open, it's not going to be pretty. The guests are going to dive right in, you know. So any knife you want. One of these where it's got a little poker at the end. Okay. But if you want to try, we also have these mini toasts from France. Should I just take one of the toasts?
Okay. So the toasts are from France as well. Okay, look at this. Do you see this cheese? How when it's slightly warmed, the beauty of this is it doesn't melt all over the place. It just gets a little bit softer. It sort of releases a bit, I think. Okay. So Brie originated in France. Can you describe, as I'm tasting this, some of the notes I should be getting?
So this cheese, it's rich, it's creamy, it's buttery. You'll see it has this very neat white bloomy rind. So some people are afraid to eat the rind. The way I think of the rind is like the crust of the bread. You know, if you don't like the crust, you can cut it off, but it's good to eat.
But you can eat it. So I think to your point, I think some people think they're not supposed to, but in this case, you can. It's just to your personal liking.
Yeah, definitely try it. I recommend going right for it.
First of all, the Brie is exquisite, gently warmed, and the toast that I ate it on you're getting as well. But of course you can put this out with a myriad of crackers or other toasts if you would like to. Already 450 of these have been spoken for, so that's the Brie. So that was from France. Now we're taking a trip to Holland. Is Holland known for their Gouda?
They are known for their Gouda. Unfortunately, you know, in the U.S. you don't really get a lot of the Holland Gouda, but we found one that we really like, and this is the traditional Holland Gouda, and then they smoked it.
I was going to ask about that because I see sometimes Gouda and then I see smoked versions, and I didn't know which one this one was.
So smell this one.
Wow, that is spectacular.
So
it's going to be a little more savory. I think when we had the Brie and then we put the fig in there with some of the walnuts, it was a slightly creamy sweet experience. I'm excited to dive into that. So how would you suggest serving the Gouda?
So this cheese is probably the most versatile one we have on the platter. So, you know, when you smell it, you have the smoky, almost like bacon. You can, of course, eat it as is. One of my favorite things to do is
I just want to hold it for a second. So what will you do with this one?
So you can shred it up And if you have some macaroni and cheese, you can make a bacon Gouda macaroni and cheese.
So that makes for a much more full-bodied cheese experience,
Creamier,
right?
you know, if you're only used to doing with cheddar.
Now, another question. So what about the rind and the outside of this one? Can we eat
Yeah,
that or
definitely
not
eat the
necessarily?
rind. The rind is going to have that extra smoky flavor.
That's interesting. The rind, just a hint firmer than the rest of the cheese, but still more on the delicate side.
Yeah. And that's where the most of that smoky is coming from.
The smoky flavor is so good. If you love Corky's ribs, if you love the wings that we have, if you love Southern barbecue, you like things that have those rich smoked flavors, maybe you even have a master-built smoker outside, you are going to love the flavor of this cheese. Gouda is one of my family's favorite cheeses. My kids live for Gouda, and they love the smoky ones especially, so I think you're going to dig this one.
Perfect on its own. Another great use, you just take a little slicer, you cut it up, and you put it right on a burger.
Really?
So a smoked Gouda cheeseburger, one of the best out there.
That sounds spectacular. So it's not a choice of. You're getting the Brie from France. You're getting the Gouda from Holland. And by the way, when you put all of this out, before we go through our other two flavors, you could serve at least 10 people because cheese is rich and filling. And I really think that this would be such a spectacular addition to your brunch table for Easter or for other occasions that you might have coming up for spring. If you're hosting a party, a shower, a bridal shower, a wedding shower, this makes you look like an expert. And people charge a lot of money to put together these little charcuterie boards. Right. And this is all, you slice it up yourself, but it's all here for you. So Tony, how many are gone? 750 now gone. What's our third cheese?
So the third cheese we have here is probably the most famous cheese from Spain, and that's Manchego. This is a sheep's milk cheese. So as we head into springtime, you know, it's sheep, it's nice, it's fun. A lot of people, maybe you think, you know, sheep, is that a little strange? But it's not too intense a flavor. It's great. It's creamy. It's buttery, but
is it tangy? More tangy or no?
It's not scary. Like,
hi,
Manchego
David.
is delicious cheese.
Do you like it?
I do like it very much, and I've cooked with it before, and it's a wonderful creamy cheese. I want you to try it, Sharon.
Okay.
Because I think you're going to love it. And you don't find Manchego in markets very readily. You usually have to go to a specialty market, or you have to go to a really, a very, like a super market.
You know what it kind of reminds me of in a way? It almost has a salty bite like Parmesan, but much creamier than that because Parmesan is a dry cheese and this is a moisture cheese.
Yeah, and it has these really cool ridges on the outside.
Yeah, on the
and
rind.
so they've been making this cheese for 100 years, and they're very specific about what you can do to call it Manchego. You can't call a cheese Manchego if it doesn't have these rinds. And when they started making the cheese, they would make it in these wicker baskets, and they would hang the cheese,
which is why it has that,
and it would have it indents.
So similar to a champagne sparkling wine story, it can only be Manchego if it has those lines.
Right.
This is a great melting cheese too.
Is it?
Really, really marvelous. It's good to have you back.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I'm standing off camera just listening to you and learning so much. It's good to have you here.
Yeah, and I mean, I've taken a lot of classes on cheese, and when I first get to a party, even though I'm nice, no one's ever saying, "Hey, Steve, how's it going?" They say, "What's this?
Yeah,
what's this? What's this? What's this?"
So you know what? Before we get to the last cheese, I want to show you right here. This is what I love, is that here's the list. So if you're watching right now and you're saying, I'm not going to remember any of these things. It's okay, because it's letting you know it's a cow's milk. It's from France. This is sheep's milk. This is from La Mancha, Spain. This is the smoked Gouda. It's cow's milk. It's from Holland. And it gives you the tasting notes. So you can have a party where people are tasting the wine and they're enjoying the cheese and everything is fabulous. And I think that that's great because whenever I put together something like this, I know what I like to eat, but I don't necessarily know the history behind everything and why it is the way it is or why it tastes the way it does. And I love this because it can all help to bring out the expert in us in a way. And then we can share that knowledge. One of the things that
excites me most about cheese is to be in a room with someone who says, look, I only like cheddar, I only like Swiss cheese.
Or Munster.
Only like Munster. I don't want anything crazy. And so we thought of those people when we put this together.
And that's a really great point because over 1,000 of these are now gone. We have one more cheese left to talk about, as well as the fig spread, because you're getting 2 of the jars of that. But the interesting thing is, if you do like classic cheeses like cheddar or Munster or some of the traditional American style creamy cheeses. This is just an extension of that, your first stepping point to get around the world, but none of the flavors are too big or bold or scary, just creamy and delicious. So which cheese is this one?
So the next one, this is from Yancey's Fancy. They've been making cheese in upstate New York in the Finger Lakes region.
I've actually had this
since the
cheese
20s.
before.
This cheese is great.
And I know the brand, the Yancey's cheese brand, because I actually grew up in New York. Thank you very much. So this is a horseradish cheese.
Right.
Now don't be scared by horseradish and think this is gonna, go right up your nose and blow your head off. It's not like that.
It's a great combo. The creaminess of the cheese really balances the little kick of the horseradish. It's not too intense.
You know what I would love? Good Lord, that is so good. You know what I would love? There's just a hint of kick in there. I'd love to slice this up nice and thin or shred it and either put it on top of a burger, or I always like horseradish with steak.
Yeah.
Like I'm thinking of an awesome steak
That would be
sandwich.
great.
Putting this on there, but of course, put this out on your board when you get this at home. Oh, and let's talk about the fig spread since we only have about 30 seconds left.
So the fig spread, so this is made using Croatian figs.
Wow.
And this is the perfect accompaniment for Brie. And just look, you can see the seeds are right in there.
And you're getting 2 of these little jars.
So 2 of the jars.
So $39.96 gets you the Brie from France, the smoked Gouda from Holland. It gets you the Manchego cheese from La Mancha, Spain, and then also the horseradish cheddar from the Finger Lakes region. You get the toasts, you get the 2 jars of the fig spread, and then right here up in the front, this is what it all looks like when you put it out for your guests, and it is exquisite. Plus, explanations on everything. So the fact that this is on our best easy payment plan of 6 easy payments of under $7 a month is extraordinary to get it home for Easter, but keep enjoying it throughout the season. Sir, such a pleasure to have you
Thank you.
here. This is M54591, so grab those easy pays. How many gone? Now over 1,400 are gone.
Buy that cheese.
But
Buy that cheese.
we're only 1 minute off. It's 5:21, but here is our new at 22 that we're going to talk about, and this is just spectacular.
We could do an interpretive dance for the next minute. Yeah. Just to get us to 5:22. Something like that. Hey, what about we take a trip to Italy? Because these are delicious, authentic tins of